Belal Muhammad versus JDM will be taking place this week, and this fight is absolutely impossible to pick, in my opinion. I mean, you got a guy, Belal Muhammad, right? And we'll look at his record right now, right? Look at this guy. Look at this legend, Belal Muhammad. Remember the name, right? Seriously though, you got a guy, Belal Muhammad, right? His record: he has a win over Leon Edwards. He has a win over Gilbert Burns, right? He has a win over Sean Brady. He has a win over Vicente Luque. He has a win over Stephen Thompson. He has a win over Damian Maia. This guy's got like a legendary welterweight. He's got a win over like, and then it's just bums. But like, bro, from Maia upward is like an all-time welterweight run, right? Now, most of these are decisions, right? Unanimous, but most of them are decisions. Decision. KO over Sean Brady. How? I don't know. And then decision. Right? He's a decision merchant. We know this, right? But it's still like a hell of a resume. Then you look at Jack Della Maddalena. Now, Jack, whatever his name is, right? Jack it off, Jack me off. JDM KO'd Gilbert Burns in the third round. Impressive. Very impressive. Especially because he had a broken arm. Had a split with Kevin Holland. Should have not been a split decision. Had a split with Basel Hafez. Should have not been a split decision. KO'd, dropped really badly and subbed Randy Brown. That is aged really freaking well. And then it's just bums and then other bums. But KOs, right? First round KO. First round KO. Excuse me. 3 first round KOs. Subbed Randy Brown in the first as well. Then he had 2, split decisions. Not the best from him. But then his last fight, which was in 2024, KO'd Gilbert Burns. This is really tricky. This is... bro, get me off this freaking... Okay. This is... It was showing me Valentina Shevchenko. I don't care about that fight. This fight is obscenely tricky to pick because I could see it. I could see, like, these guys winning in my head. It keeps replaying in my head. Like Belal Muhammad winning a decision. But then I could also see JDM KOing Belal or something. I could just see it. And like, he's good enough to like beat him via decision. But I think if it goes 5 rounds, look, let's be honest. If you're picking JDM, you're probably picking him by a KO or some kind of TKO finish, right? No one's picking Belal by any sort of finish. It's tricky because Belal Muhammad has a good chin. He's shown that. But at the same time, who's he really shown that against? I mean, you look at the names I mentioned. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He's good, but that's past his prime, Wonderboy. And Wonderboy's a bit of a sniper. He's not like a JDM who's going to go for it and really try to take your head off. Then you look at a name like Gilbert Burns. And Burns had, I think, a broken arm in that fight, I want to say. Is Burns really going to go for it against Belal Muhammad? Especially with an injury? Leon Edwards, which was his last fight. Again, another counter striker, kickboxer type guy. None of the names he's really faced. Maybe you could say like a Vicente Luque, but that's past his prime Luque. Even though that's decently impressive, but I don't think Luque is a JDM type of striker where he's really going to hunt you down. It's you look at the strikers he's faced, it's not really, none of them match up to JDM. I'm sorry that this sounds like I'm glazing JDM. Because believe it or not, I actually kind of like Belal Muhammad. But I like JDM and I would prefer if he won. But none of the guys Belal has faced are as good of a striker as JDM is. But with that being said, JDM, the real problem here is his grappling. It's so unproven because we've seen him held down by Gilbert Burns. And he has decent scrambles. He can get back up very well. But we've seen him held down. And if he didn't get that finish in the third, like he kind of could have lost a decision to Gilbert freaking Burns, though he had a broken arm and whatever the case may be. We've seen him out-grappled by Basil Hafez. Now, that fight was so long ago. He had to make 2 weight cuts. I'm not really going to put a lot of stock on that fight because that fight was just bad circumstances, excuse me. No, seriously, though, that fight was bad circumstances, but his last fight, which was against Gilbert Burns, that was also bad circumstances because he had a freaking broken arm. But I do think if Gilbert Burns can hold you down, and I'd like to think Belal is a bit stronger than Gilbert Burns, but with that being said, I do like the work I've seen from JDM outside of, like in camp or whatever the case may be. He's working real hard with Craig Jones. I'm liking the vids I'm seeing, of course, they're only going to put out the good vids. They're not going to show like him getting tapped out by Craig Jones 10,000 times. But he is working with Craig Jones, whatever his name is. He's working with that Australian guy. No, but he is working with Craig Jones, and it's impressive. I like what I'm seeing from JDM. He's young, too. He's, 28? He has a lot to learn, a lot to improve from. Now, he's been out with an injury, but he's not just sitting on his ass. Like, Belal Muhammad, I think Belal Muhammad is peaked, right? Like, he's not going to come into this fight better on the feet, better on the ground. He's never submitted anybody. He's never ground and pound TKO'd anybody. He's never going to. That's just Belal Muhammad. He might have had like one ground and pound TKO like 10 years ago, but my point is Belal Muhammad, he doesn't really... His game is his game. He's not going to improve. He doesn't have a lot to learn from. JDM has a lot more to learn from than Belal. Right, he's about 10 years younger than the guy, but it's tricky, man, because Belal Muhammad is decent at pressuring fighters, but against a guy like JDM, you can't pressure a guy like JDM because JDM in the pocket, if you're Belal Muhammad and you're trying to throw those Canelo-like uppercuts and JDM, he's not Leon Edwards that's just going to let you beat him up against the cage and do that stupid like guard that he does where he leaves his like... JDM's not going to do that. But at the same time, I would like to think Belal is smart enough to not try that strategy against JDM because you can do that against a guy like Sean Brady, who doesn't really pose that danger in the pocket, doesn't have a lot of insane power, is not really like... you can do that against a Leon Edwards. Same thing, doesn't have a lot of great power, is not really good in the pocket, more of a rangy kind of striker. It's in your best interest to... I was about to say put it in their face, but that sounds pretty gay. But you know what I mean, right? But with JDM, you can't really play that game with JDM. And I would like to think Belal is going to try to grapple very heavily in this. But the thing is, if JDM is decent enough to just get up and constantly bring it back to the feet, fuck, man. It's so tricky because... he has the power to stop a guy like Belal. Yes, Belal has shown he has a pretty good chin. But he's hittable. Leon caught him with some things, but his chin is good. And plus, Leon is Leon. JDM has a good chin too, but, we're not worried about Belal hitting JDM with anything. So this is not, JDM has got a good chin, but, he could have a bad chin. I'd still pick him. I don't even know. I'm not even picking him, by the way. I don't even know. My conclusion is I don't know. Because Belal is a good grappler. He has good pressure. But he doesn't have that submission threat. And I think JDM has been working so hard. JDM has been working really hard, working on his grappling. It's so funny because even way before this fight was announced, I said, Belal would beat JDM easily. He would out-grapple him easily. If JDM's getting held down by Gilbert Burns. But then the more I think about it, I'm like, Leon did land. And Leon's not JDM, and Leon did land a couple of shots. And that fight was a bit closer than you think. And especially now looking at what just happened to Leon, like that win is not aged that well for Belal. But I'm not going to discredit Belal's wins all of a sudden, by the way. I'm just saying, like, 1 second. Excuse me. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. He's not dominating any of these guys. Like, yeah, he's beating them and he's winning 30-27s or whatever the case may be, but it's just not. He's not Habibing these guys. Khabibing, whatever Khabib, or Makacheving these guys. He's just being Belal. He's just, all right, I'm gonna slam you. I'm gonna lay on top of you. I'm try to get the back, but like he has no submission threat. I just think I might have to go with JDM. I think I've come to the conclusion when I just think about it more. JDM is good at getting up. He's good at scrambling. He's going to have been working on that so hard. I mean, he's going to have been working on his scrambles and, getting up from takedowns. And I just think over the course of 5 rounds, JDM has good cardio. He paces himself very well. If he pressures Belal, which he should. But then, man, what sucks? The exciting fighter does not win anymore in this sport. I just want to say this. Like, I thought Pereira was going to be Ankalaev. Ankalaev beats him via a boring decision. I thought Prates was going to be Ian Gary. Ian Gary beats him via, at times, boring. But yes, at times he had some nice moments. But he, held him against the cage a couple times. Kind of fought at range a little bit. It wasn't like... The new meta of the UFC is like the boring fighter wins. It's because like I wanna pick JDM so bad because I want him to win. But obviously I can't just pick who I want to win. I have to pick who I think is gonna win. And it's extremely hard because I don't really know. I can see a path to victory for both guys. Fuck. I think I'm going to go JDM. I think JDM can catch him, but Belal's a good chin. Does JDM have that cardio to, like, in round 4 when Belal's a bit tired and JDM, is he going to be able to tee off? And JDM doesn't have 5-round experience like Belal, but does he really need 5 rounds to get Belal out of there? I'm not sure, but he could pace himself very well. But Belal does have a decent chin, but at the same time, who's really testing his chin? No one's really testing his chin, to be fair. He's going to take a lot less risks, but JDM is not the kind of fighter that is going to be like, oh, I'm down 4-0 on the scorecards. Let me just accept this decision loss. He's not Leon Edwards. If he's down 4-0, he's going to run towards Belal in the 5th. Like, he's going to look for the finish. I know he didn't really do that against Kevin Holland and Basil Hafez. Well, he kind of was against Hafez. He was trying to get Hafez out of there, to be fair. And Holland was kind of running a bit in that fight, too. Holland has a great chin. We know this. He did that against Burns, man. He was down 2-0. Dude hits a freaking knee, a miracle knee out of nowhere and just KOs Gilbert Burns. It's fuck, man. It's so hard to pick this goddamn sport because as much as my heart wants me to pick JDM, can you guys not just see Belal Muhammad just Belal Muhammading his way to a decision, a boring Belal Muhammad decision, a snooze fest Belal Muhammad decision? Fuck, I'm picking JDM. But I could see Belal winning like a 4-1. I could see Belal winning like a razor close decision, and we're like, they're gonna give it to JDM, and then you hear like, and still, and then Belal's like all bloodied, and he's like, oh, and he puts his arms up, and then JDM's like all sad, and then freaking MMA Guru's raging, and I'm raging, and all freaking Lucas Tracy and Bedtime, we're all the freaking MMA YouTubers are raging and crashing out, and fuck. Then MMA Twitter's like, fuck this sport, Can you guys not just see what I'm describing right now? Can you guys not just perfectly see? Like, I see more. I'm overthinking it. I'm picking JDM via round 4 knockout. No, I think I'm going to pick Jack Della Maddalena. I'm just going to. It's a 50-50 fight. He's an underdog as well. I'm going to pick JDM. I'm going to pick JDM via late round 4 KO/TKO. I think he's going to rock Belal in the earlier rounds, maybe round 2. I think Belal is then going to rely heavily on his grappling for the next couple of rounds. But I think once we get to round 4, I think that's when JDM is going to really tee off on Belal. I could see it being kind of like, Pereira Roundtree, where it's kind of like Pereira's just going off and he breaks him at the end of the round kind of thing. I could see JDM doing that to Belal, just kind of breaking him at the end. I'm not very confident. You could hear it in my voice. I'm not very confident picking this, but I'm going to pick JDM, Jack Della Maddalena. But if he loses, fuck. If he loses, I'm retiring, so it is what it is. You heard it here first. If JDM loses to Belal Muhammad, I'm retiring from ever watching the UFC, combat sports. I'm retiring from breathing air. I'm retiring from covering this sport. I'm retiring from... I'll never shit on Anthony Smith again. That's how you know I'm serious. So if JDM loses this, you know what? I'm just going to put all my chips on JDM then. I might as well. I might as well. If I was a gambling man, I'd put 10 bands, $10,000 on Jack Della Maddalena, whatever his name is. It's funny, I forgot his name, but not Belal's, right? Kind of ironic in that sense. Make sure you guys like and sub. Become a member in the description. Who are you guys picking? I really need to know, guys, because I'm not confident in this pick. I spent practically 20 minutes breaking this down, but we've come to the conclusion. I think JDM can get it done. I trust him a little bit more than Belal, but I can just see Belal winning more, if that makes any sense. I know it sounds stupid, and it's a stupid metric to pick fights, but I can see it in my head. I can see Belal Muhammad. I could hear the "and still," and Dana looks pissed, and he puts the belt around Belal. And now people on Twitter are like, Belal Muhammad has just solidified himself as the welterweight GOAT. And I can just see it more. We don't get good things in the sport anymore. Very rarely do we get good things in the sport. Very, very, very rarely. Rare, whatever the word is. Very so often do we get good things anymore. Couldn't get the Pereira over Ankalaev. We couldn't get any of the... We got Volk winning, but it was against Diego, so I would have been fine with either one. I guarantee you if Volk was facing Evloev, he would have lost a fucking razor-close decision, and then... Anyways, I'm ranting about a whole nother thing. Make sure you guys like and sub. Become a member in the description. God bless you guys. Peace.